cannot promise you that the liquid that you see on the bathroom floor is only water, especially if you plan on dropping almost $200. Sometimes I want to know where y'all are going. How much did you pack in there? How long are you staying? I'm just curious. I spent $20 on a sandwich. Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, thank you so much for being here. I know that this is not our traditional setup where I am heading to work on a trip and I'm telling you guys where we're going. I wanted to share some very important tips with you guys to help make your traveling a little bit more seamless. The holidays are upon us and we gotta be prepared. I have been doing this for 7 years and I've seen so much, from people just overpacking, from not knowing what to do when they get to the airport. I've seen a lot. I've seen it all probably, but I'm sure there's going to be more that I still haven't. I wanted to take this time and kind of share some tips with those of you who are either new to traveling, haven't traveled in a while, or maybe you're a pro at traveling and you just need a quick little reminder of some of the things that you may forget. So I have some tips that I'd like to share with you. As a flight attendant, I know that traveling can be stressful. If anybody knows about stressful traveling, we do. I do. So the tips that I want to share with you are to help make everything a little bit more seamless in your travel journey, because before you know it, you're going to be getting in your car, you're going to be driving to the airport, and then you're going to be standing in TSA, you're going to be standing in the lines, you're going to be checking your bag, what's going on, there's a delay, it's going to be a lot. So let me help you make your life a little bit more easier, starting with this first tip. So my first tip rolls into technology and how great it is, how advanced we are. Everywhere you go, restaurants, there's a QR code, just scan it, you got the menu on your phone. I love it. It's probably the best invention for me. I don't want to touch those nasty menus that they probably didn't clean. Anyway, apps. There's an app for almost everything, and now there's apps that will help you understand where your plane is, where is it going to come from, etc. So my first recommendation is going to be some apps that I use to help make traveling seamless. The first one is Flight Radar. And Flight Radar, it will help you track where your plane's coming from, its expected arrival, what gate it's going to be at, which is, you pretty much don't even have to go up to the gate agent anymore. If you have this app, you'll know ahead of time. Let's just say you're leaving from Orlando and you're going to New York and you want to know where your plane is at. Do you have a second to stop and get coffee, or should you just head to the gate because it's already arrived? It is so detailed. It has so much on there that you can really benefit from. It also will help identify if there's going to be any delays. I know throughout the summer there were a ton of FAA regulated delays in which the airlines really didn't have much control over. It would help you identify which airport is expected to have a delay. It'll have it right there, and I'll insert some information on the screen so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But it'll have if there's an issued ground stop at a certain airport. It'll also have if there's going to be any weather that is causing delays. For example, in Orlando, there 99.9% of the time in the summertime there is going to be a storm of some sort. It's not going to last forever, but it is going to affect the rest of the day and probably the next day. So with that being said, it is important to have as much information as you can before you head out and start your journey. I love this app. It's free. You can, of course, I think they have a paid version where you can get some other information, but honestly, I don't have it. And it works great. I use it almost every day that I'm going to work. It'll also tell you if you're, you know, a scaredy cat like me when it comes to a little bit of turbulence. It'll actually have information as far as what weather will be on your route. This is also very good, and I love to say this for people who may not travel all the time. When it comes to weather delays, it's not necessarily where the weather is in your area or even where you're at right now. So the audio was a bit choppy here and messed up, so I just decided to do a voiceover for this particular part. And at this point, I was just providing an example of how sometimes things are labeled with a weather delay and not specifically having to do with weather in your area that you are currently in, or at the airport, or even in the destination where you are flying to. It can be weather along the route that you're taking, and that's causing some congestion with the air traffic. Some flights that are already in the air are having to go around the weather that you're experiencing, and now it's causing a backup. So that is why sometimes things are labeled with a weather delay, and it doesn't necessarily mean anything to you in that particular area that you are in, or even where your destination is. The next app, download the app of the airline that you're taking. So whether it be JetBlue, Delta, United, American, Spirit, whoever you're flying on, download the app for that airline so that you have your tickets are readily available. You're not scounging around for paper. You're already in the know. On there is going to have a whole bunch of information too, as far as where your gate is, if there's any gate changes, what terminal you're in. So when you get to the airport, you're not having to look around and see what's going. It's all on your phone and it's easily available. There's so much stuff on those apps that they have now advanced in. Like there's a lot. I didn't even, for my own airline, they tell you they actually have the tracker in the app now, so you can see where your plane is coming from. So it's just really nice. It's a nice thing to have. You don't have to do this again, but if it's free, why not? That way you can have all of your information just kind of downloaded into your phone, and you're not having to carry around the paper anymore. Like, just get it. My second tip that I'd like to give you guys is picking your seats ahead of time. This will help alleviate so much stress, so you don't have to come to the airport and not know where your seat is. You want to be assigned next to a window seat. I get it. You want to take pictures, all of the above. But sometimes those seats might already be taken, so just doing it ahead of time will allow you to secure the seat that you would like. If you do wait till you get to the airport, do it before you get on the plane, because if it is a full flight, we may not be able to accommodate you, but they could have out in the gate area if you ask ahead of time. It'll also help you be able to sit with your loved ones, especially if you're traveling with small children and or your significant other and you would just like to sit next to them. We totally understand that, and we do try to accommodate if we can once you get on the plane, but if it's a full flight, sometimes that's just not feasible and you end up sitting apart. So just try and pick your seats out ahead of time. It'll help alleviate the stress of not knowing where you're gonna sit and or not having your desired location on the plane, whether it be the front, the middle, the back, and the exit row. Again, I know that some ticket prices and some seats are, you know, a little bit more pricier than others, but if it's something that you absolutely want, you need the space, you need the leg room, you just want to be more comfortable, do it. Sometimes it's worth the extra cash. My next tip would be packing your own snacks and food. I can't stress this enough. I think that a lot of people, they just don't know that you can pack your own snacks, and sometimes you might ride on an airline where you just don't like their snacks, there's not enough choices, etc. They just don't have what you like. You can bring in food. It just has to be a solid, nothing that is a liquid over 3.4 ounces. So if you want to bring a sandwich, you want to get yourself some cookies, you want to get yourself some chips, whatever the case may be, whatever your heart desires, you are allowed to bring that on the plane. Just make sure that if it is an international flight and you are coming into the US, it is consumed if it is a fresh fruit, vegetable, anything with seeds, pork, etc. It's a whole list of it on the TSA website. But if you're traveling domestically, why not save a couple of dollars and pack your own snacks, especially if you have dietary restrictions. Sometimes eating at the airport, not only is it expensive, some of this stuff is just not good. It's not. Take it from me. I'm a flight attendant. I've tried enough food at the airport to let you know from expertise that sometimes it's just not worth it. I'll get mad. I'm like, I spent $20 on a sandwich that I could have made from home, and I'm not kidding. So I'm just trying to help you guys out during this holiday season. save some money and bring food that you actually would enjoy eating, especially if you're traveling with small children and you know they're picky eaters, or even grown-ups. If you're a picky eater and you know you're not eating what is at the airport, pack your own food. You'll be happy you did. So my next tip is going to be in regards to TSA and getting through security on time before your flight. I said this before, it is going to be a hectic, busy season. I actually have a document that I pulled up. I got it from leisure.com, and they said that an expected 50.44% of Americans are expected to travel during this Christmas season, whereas only 42.98% traveled in 2022. So with that being said, it is going to be busy during this holiday season. And those busy travel days that they indicated, which are probably well known, but they said through December 21st through December 23rd are going to be crazy. So I can only imagine what the TSA lines are going to look like. That is why I'm stressing to you to give yourself so much time to get to your gate and get on the plane. That is why the apps that I recommended are going to be useful to you. And the next one that I recommend is going to be useful to you. It's actually the TSA app. Now this app will tell you what time pre-check closes, what time or how long the estimated wait times for some of the airports are looking like. I actually have the app on my phone just for research purposes, and it's actually really good. If you are somebody that has TSA pre-check, a common question that I've gotten before, and I'm taking this straight from the website, if children are able to accompany you while you have TSA pre-check, and the answer is yes. Children who are 12 years and younger may accompany an enrolled parent. Children who are 13 through 17, they may also accompany their parent. However, on their boarding pass, it does need to say TSA pre-check on it. So you just have to do your due diligence and make sure that that known number is put into that reservation when you are booking your flights. So this is definitely a great app to have, especially if you plan on traveling during those dates and time frames. You know, I think we've all seen those TikToks and videos, Twitter, whatever, about how long the lines can be. I actually live in Orlando, and I know for sure a lot of them come from Orlando because it's a busy time. People are coming to see you know who, and it's just always busy. So give yourself time when you are trying to go through security. If you're somebody who runs late all the time, you probably want to invest into getting TSA pre-check or clear, which is, I see all the time, the clear people, you know, they're kind of hustling people to join and all that jazz. I did look up for research purposes. Clear is not available at every airport and or every terminal. So this is something to make sure that you do your due diligence and research when you are enrolling into the program. For example, somebody who may be traveling out of JFK, I looked it up and I see that JFK is solely available in Terminal 4. So I know my airline operates out of Terminal 5 and Clear is not available. So if you live in New York City and you travel out of Terminal 5 often, you wouldn't be able to use Clear. So that could be something that could be a way for you to determine if Clear is for you or if TSA pre-check, or if you got both, that's a great thing too. Just for reference really quick, I did go ahead and pull up the pricing for Clear, and it looks like the pricing for an individual for the year is $189, and then if you're doing a family plan, it's $189 plus $99 per person. So again, it really does help if you just take a look at the website ahead of time before going and enrolling at the airport, just to make sure that they are in an airport that would suit your travel needs, especially if you plan on dropping almost $200. So my next recommendation or tip would be to get yourself a good quality pair of noise canceling headphones. That way your trip is undisturbed and you are able to have a very comfortable flight. because certain sounds that you may hear on the plane, i.e. children crying or the person behind you having a very healthy, long conversation, flight attendants aren't able to tell them to quiet down, especially young children. They're gonna cry. That's what babies do. They cry. We all have to deal with it. So if you are somebody who is sensitive to sounds and things around you and you just like peace, I can't suggest anymore to get yourself some high quality headphones, whether it be the ones that go over your ears or in your ears. I actually have a pair of both and they are perfection. I love them. I recommend them 100%. You can get them at Best Buy. You can get them, I'm sure, at Target. Any place that you shop, check for some. And they don't have to be super expensive. Again, get something that will work within your budget or whatever you like. Also recommend getting some that you can watch the TVs. If you plan on watching TVs and you like better sound quality, definitely getting ones that have a jack that can go inside of the television. I know on my particular airline, we don't have the Bluetooth capability, but there are different things that you can purchase online that allow you to hook up your Bluetooth through that device. I'll put it on the screen and you can get one of those and it'll be a very pleasant flight. One other thing I'd like to mention in regards to headphones, some of the things, and I'm sure a lot of flight attendants can attest to this, one of the common headphones that we see that are lost, it's either your left ear or your right ear, are AirPods. Those Apple AirPods, somebody's gonna lose them on the plane. I guarantee you, when we land, somebody's gonna be sitting around, looking around their seat, trying to figure out where their other AirPod is because they fell asleep during the flight and now they can't find it. It is probably the most left behind thing on the plane. People put them in the seat back pockets, they drop out of your purse or whatever the case may be. I have a pair, so I know. But for me, when I'm traveling on my own time, I personally don't even put them in my ear because if I doze off, I know they're gonna fall out and then I'm not gonna find it. They are lost all the time. So just as a flight attendant, I recommend leaving those at home or leaving those in your purse and getting yourself another pair to use on the plane, because those, especially if you have small ears like me, they're gonna fall out, especially if you go to sleep, and then you won't know where it went until the end of the flight and we can deplane and try and help you find it. So my next tip has to do with luggage and those big old luggage sizes. Baby, sometimes I want to know where y'all are going, how much did you pack in there, how long are you staying. I'm just curious because some of the bags are huge and sometimes they don't fit, and it really depends on the aircraft. Every airline has different airplanes, they have different configurations, they have different overhead bin sizes. It can vary. Not all airplanes are treated the same. So with that being said, sometimes, I'll give you an example. The hard shell suitcases, they are able to be expanded so you can put more stuff in there. And you know, sometimes if you're like me, I just want to put so much stuff, I'm going to overpack. I am an overpacker all the time. I still don't pack right. But with that being said, sometimes they may not fit on the plane and we might have to check it. So then you defeat the purpose of having brought your luggage onto the plane because it doesn't fit. And traditionally, especially on my airline, we are supposed to have the bags facing with the wheels or the handles facing out, not on its side, because then it's taking away from other baggage space from other customers. So then it will get checked and you'll have to pick it up at the carousel. So although these bags are coming with these expandable spaces and it feels lovely to have, they're not necessarily ideal for airplanes, especially if they don't fit in the overhead bin. If they're too expanded, the overhead bin door is not going to close, and then we would either have to wait till the end to check it to see if there's going to be enough space. Also keep this in mind when you are bringing your backpacks too. If you are packing a backpack that is a little bit oversized, that too may not fit in underneath the seat. So traditionally the FAA requires one bag goes under the seat, and then 1 bag in the overhead bin. So you're permitted 1 carry-on item and then a personal item. So whichever your second item needs to be able to go under the seat. My next tip has to do with packing as well. If you are going to be packing anything, make sure your important documents, medication, anything like that is in your carry-on bag. If for whatever reason you have to check your carry-on bag, make sure that you have anything that you will need that is essential for you on board at all times, whether it be your inhaler, an EpiPen, your passport documents, anything like that should be with you at all times. Make sure that when you are deplaning that you have all of these items as well. Don't leave them in the seat back pocket. So make sure you have everything with you that is essential for your traveling needs. Medication, travel documents, everything. My next tip is for my germaphobes out there. Make sure you carry some hand sanitizer, maybe some wipes. This can be just, you know, not even just on the airplane, but even for your hotel rooms. If you've watched any of my videos before, you know I go in with my stuff for wiping down the restrooms. I even wipe down the seats on the plane, and I'm a flight attendant. That should tell you something. Anyway, also for when you're going into the restroom, just a little quick spray. I use a travel bottle size of alcohol. It's 91%. I always carry it with me. There's not a day I don't. But again, I'm a germaphobe, but not everyone is like that, and I totally understand that. That's why this one is for you and I. Also a secret, just a little tiny little secret. I've been doing this for 7 years, and I cannot promise you that the liquid that you see on the bathroom floor is only water. I can't. People have asked before, they're like, oh, I'm gonna go into the restroom. And they look down, they look at me, and I'm like, I would put shoes on. Me. I see a lot. I would put shoes on when I go to the restroom. I also don't like wet socks, so that's just for a tidbit from me to you. We'll keep it like that. My next tip is some parking suggestions. Make sure, just like when you go through TSA, you want to make sure that you're there ahead of time and that you know exactly where you're going to go. Sometimes, especially in Orlando, these parking garages fill up fast. I mean quick. You'll see there's signs everywhere, parking lot full. So before you go to the airport, maybe reserve something so that you're not stuck driving a long distance only to get to the airport and find out that there is no parking on premises, especially during holidays and busy times. You want to make sure that you have your parking already set, whether you prepay for it at a off-site parking place. It'll just save you so much stress for you having to miss a flight. I've heard that before, people missing flights because they can't find parking. And I remember traveling last year during the holidays, and the parking lot on the airport in Orlando was full. There was no parking. I don't even think there was parking on the other side where Cimarron is. If you live in Orlando, you know where I'm talking about. But check with off-site parking. Reserve it now. Reserve it now before you head out. If you live close to the airport and it's not going to break the bank, maybe take an Uber. Do whatever you have to do, but check ahead of time when it comes to parking. I can't stress that enough, especially if you're going to be traveling out of a very busy airport such as Orlando, Atlanta, New York, Boston, etc. Check before you leave. So my last and final tip would be to be as organized as possible. Make checklists. Do what you need to do in order to stay as organized as possible. When you're traveling, you do not want to be in a frenzy, having to make last minute decisions and not knowing where stuff is. Try to put everything in the same place that you took it out from. Phones, laptops, computers. When you are in TSA, make sure that you stop, look around, check behind you that you didn't leave your wallet, leave your iPad, leave your tablet. I hear all the time the announcements. Let's say, Bob Donaldson, come back to the TSA, you left your laptop. You might really need that laptop, and now you're traveling somewhere where you won't be back to that destination again for some time. So make sure that you are just have enough time, plan ahead, make sure you have enough time stay organized, and just try to make it as seamless as possible, because although there is going to be long lines, there's going to be long lines for food, there's going to be long lines for everything, make sure that you're just as organized and as patient as possible. I hope that this video was helpful for you and that it'll help get you through your holiday travel season. If you did like today's video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to stick around and see what I'm doing on my regular day-to-day basis as a flight attendant, please subscribe. I'd love to have you around. And let me know what else you'd like to see or what other questions you may have, and I'll do my best to answer them or get you a reference and where you can find the answer to that information. Anything that I have quoted in today's video will definitely be linked below, as far as any of the TSA information or Clear information. I'll have that all linked below so that you can reference it yourself. But I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. If you're new and you enjoyed today's video, I'm sure you'll love my day-to-day videos as a flight attendant. So make sure that you go ahead and subscribe, like anything that you'd like to know. Again, go ahead and comment it down below. I'd love to talk to you in the comments. And until next time, I will see you guys.